Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. I guess I'm finally uploading. Well, anyways, I'm going to be responding to this. My response to the downfall of Surviv.io Battle Royale. Yeah, I'm going to be responding to a response. More of a reaction, I guess, but I made this video for two reasons. One, it's the easiest thing to upload ever. It's lazy, and yeah. And two, because I haven't really been uploading recently, and I should probably give some reasoning for why I don't want to play Surviv and Upload, and just this is a good way to do it, I guess. So yeah, here we go.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the SWL channel. So I am
Hope I get
reducing the
the
amount of
volume
content
right
that
so
I'm
you can actually
producing
hear
and
this.
producing to 4 days a week, but I'm going to try to.
I'll do this. All right. Oops.
Do
All
a
right.
little bit of a couple reaction videos a week, maybe. Kind of more like a
I'm
response, not really
just
a
reaction
reaction.
to
So this
his
first video that I'm
reaction.
going to
This
do
is
is called The
awesome.
Downfall of Surviv.io Battle Royale, which I think is a really complicated name. It could have just been the downfall of Surviv. But it's by
Yeah, that
Joweek
is a
here.
complicated
Link to the
name.
video and Joweek will be down in the description below. Let's get right
Guess
into
I'll
it. I
link
have
both
watched
him
this
and
before,
the
but
SWL
I'll be telling you
channel.
guys what I think about it
Why am
and
I
kind of
doing
like adding
this?
on to a little bit of what he's talking
And
about.
I'll add on to what you're
I've
talking
been playing
about.
Survive.io almost exclusively for the past 2 years, and now I'm getting asked to play the game on a daily basis. Stop it. However, this is completely normal.
Especially streamers who like stream one time a day and then they'll be asked like afterwards, hey, can you go live? I want to play with you kind of thing. It's really annoying. Just don't do it.
I mean,
Now the thing is, I've just completely learned to just ignore people telling me what to do, and like I just do whatever I want, so it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, I just ignore you guys. But yeah, that is a good point, I
if
guess.
you look at Firetto's channel, there are still hundreds of people having a
People
mentality
asking
of
Firetto are
decay.
weird.
Now,
Like,
the reason
you
I'm
know, he's
making this
gone.
video now is because
It
I
is
want to
what
talk
it
about
is.
why I got into
He's has other stuff
Survive.io
to do
after
with his
stopping playing
life,
for so
and
long, and why
yeah.
I finally quit the game. But to do this, we have to go back in time, back to the early stages of Survive.io Battle
By the way, this video is very well edited. I'm really impressed by his editing skills.
Royale. The
I'm
original
impressed by yours,
game
Cryptic.
in the IO game category consists of games such as Deep.io, Mope.io, Slither.io, etc. Most of the games in the IO genre were starting to die up until on October 11th, 2017. Survive.io.
That's not really true. I think IO games were doing as good as ever, but it's not really that
You know,
important.
not really as good as ever, but
Obviously, the game was
like
not
they
very
weren't at the
strong
same
until
peak. But
about
yeah.
February of 2018, which is when it finally started to gain some traction. Even bigger YouTubers such as Vic
That's actually not really true either. I think late 2017 was when big YouTubers started
Yeah,
popping
that's
off.
definitely true.
123 and Jerome ASF were playing the game. Over the next 6 months, the game kept
Title is
growing and
awful.
growing
Like
until
what?
finally in August, the game hit its largest peak. While the game wasn't extremely popular, the game still had thousands of people. So what did Survive.io do that started to gain so much attention? The answer is simple. Survive.io
It, to me, it just felt like it was different than other battle royale games or IO games. Like the whole, I don't even know, just the whole weapon system, grenades, everything. Like both Build Royale and Zombies Royale feel generic in a way that Surviv doesn't to me. Like I don't know. I'd guess most of you who play Surviv would understand what I mean. And it's just different as a battle royale from other IO games that went with a trend. That's what it was. That's why it was popular to me. But some of y'all probably have different opinions. I don't know.
was purely a game based off of PUBG, but created so
I
that
mean, yeah,
anyone
obviously it's based off
could
of
play. You could
PUBG.
also play it at school with your friends.
I think this is one of the main reasons why it grew in popularity was because people were
Definitely
playing with each
true.
other at school, and so they were able to play as a squad. And then whenever they got home, they'd play sometimes by themselves. So I think if you see the spikes in the graphs, they do well during school time and not so well during the summer, which is kind of the opposite of what you'd expect because people have a bunch of free time during the summer.
Also, what I really
Yeah, I
like
never
about
played like that,
Survive.io
but it
is
was
that it
definitely
has only
true that
takes a
some
few
people
seconds
did.
to join a game. This allows for a more enjoyable experience because you're constantly playing the game. When Justin and Nick owned the game, they ran it on really powerful servers, making the game really smooth even on a Chromebook. Now that Kong owns the game, they run Surviv on really laggy servers, which makes
this is actually not true at all, or at least not that I'm aware of. I don't believe the servers changed as much as just the code became poorly
Honestly, it's not
maintained,
even
and it
that
gets
much
to the point where
laggier for
once the
me.
game becomes too big, in terms of like size of the files, it has.
Like for me personally, it's never really lagged that much unless I'm streaming or recording. Like I even back when I had my Mac that was pretty bad, it still wouldn't lag, and I could play the game normally. Like you don't need a good computer to play this game normally, at least when you're not streaming or recording. At least that's what I've experienced. I don't know.
Difficulty going
It's definitely
from
slightly
servers
worse, but
to
yeah.
players, regardless of how good their computers are and regardless of how good the servers are. So I don't think it's the fact that there's poor servers anymore. I think it's that if you look through the code, there's a bunch of unoptimized files. There's like 30 or so different varieties of their coding software for ads that they just didn't delete, or I guess couldn't figure out which parts to delete.
I wouldn't know
like
anything about this type of
25%
stuff.
at least of the game is
Yeah.
just unused or poorly optimized stuff. When you think about how much is going before
Cryptic
back
is so
and forth between
smart.
traffic, if you can save 25%, that'd be considerably faster.
Or maybe I'm
I
just
started
so
experiencing
dumb.
lag before a lot of other people started experiencing lag because my CPU wasn't super good, but it slowly, like over time, it phased in, people getting laggier and laggier with every update, which they didn't change servers every update, and that would explain
I
why
haven't
people
noticed
started lagging at
differences
different
in the
times instead of
lag
all
that,
at once
at
with
least
one
not
big
ones
surge,
that
which
didn't
also kind of
coincide with my
makes me
computer
think that it's
getting
not
worse
really
or
necessarily
Wi-Fi.
Chrome
Like,
either, which I know people have been blaming it on Chrome.
maybe it's
or
just
at least
me, but
Concrete
yeah.
has been blaming it on Chrome. But I think it's more eventually stuff lags when you get the file big enough and unoptimized enough. And so I think Chrome might have had an influence where it's using some of your CPU, some of your space on your computer, and it's making it where that you could handle even less. But I don't think Chrome is really a significant thing to blame on this.
It's really difficult to run the game smoothly unless you have a top-notch PC and
Top-notch PC.
Forget everything people said about skill because critical hits require 99.99% luck.
Now the thing about headshots is it's just the thing that makes me hate them is that you never know when you hit a headshot, but you do know when you get headshot. It just makes it no fun either way, because like you never there's no fun you get out of them, but there's frustration. I mean, technically, yeah, you get a kill from them, but you don't really notice the difference of them positively. You only do negatively. That's why I hate them, but I've grown to not really care about them much. Like, it is what it is. They obviously aren't getting changed, and there's worse issues with the game.
Basically, you can have the best armor in the game and still have a high chance of getting two-shot by an MP220.
I agree to this that it does impact the game, but I don't think it's particularly negative for the game, to be honest. I'll go over it now since I think this game would be too.
The
I
real
think a
Dragon
game being too
Wind
skill
recent
based
follower.
is not a good thing because
Wow, that was back
importantly
in the
enough,
day.
to get a bad player to keep playing the game, you have to give them a chance of winning. So either you put in more bad people, which is what a lot of games do with matchmaking, where that if you're a pro player, you're going to be playing against other pro and top players, and if you're a bad player, you're going to be playing against a bunch of other bots. Surviv doesn't do that because it can, two, it just doesn't have the player base. So they have to put everybody together. So by giving you a chance to crit a good player or just a better player and kill them, then it keeps a player wanting to keep playing because they actually beat somebody who is good.
You have reached a point where you have two.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like again, you don't really notice the pause. You wouldn't really notice the difference that much, and it wouldn't make much of a difference if they were gone. Like, people are still gonna hit lucky shots and get kills, and people are still gonna just. And bad players are still gonna die to good players. It's not gonna change much, but I don't know. I don't really care about headshots anymore, as I said earlier.
You could possibly become exceedingly relevant for having a good sense of humor, being decent at the game, and having popular friends. The second choice is to remain in larger servers such as the social.
That's what all my friend group did. Like, Omega, Sleepy. I mean, not completely, but Omega's famous from the whole simp meme, which literally just came from us messing around in a group chat, from us being in the same Discord server. Like, that is honestly a good way to get popular, to have fun in this community, is just to join a Discord and hang out with people and play the game. Like, that's how I got into it, and that's how a lot of my friends who you all know the names of, they're kind of popular. That's how they all got into it, and that's why they're still. Alright, so my recording cut off here for some reason, but yeah. I don't know. Whatever, I'm back. Here we are.
However, if you pick the the first option, you will soon realize there's a price you have to pay. Raids and toxicity was a huge issue and often scared lots of people away from the pro community. The Survivio main Discord mod, John, often justified huge ban waves, which meant that players...
Yeah, I don't even know if I should talk about John, but like huge ban waves just for being a part of a certain community or discords, even if they were toxic, is just dumb. Like if they haven't ever done anything on the specific server you're banning them on, like why? Just John overall is such an egotistical, toxic person in that community. Like he'd always just side with the same old people who've been in there forever in arguments. I don't know. He's just the most annoying person in that server. Like, yeah. He would have banned me so many times over by now. Like, if I was a normal member, he would have banned me so many times over if I wasn't popular with how I am as a YouTuber. And like I should be banned with how they treat normal people, but I'm not. Because, yeah. It's dumb, but it is what it is.
associated with toxic clans were immediately banned from the Survivio main. This started a big controversy which made the pro community strongly dislike the Survivio main community.
I don't think this is true. I think a lot of people just disliked certain aspects of the community. I don't think the Surviv main is really an issue. It's just the people inside of it and the hive mind.
Yeah, this is definitely true. Surviv main is pretty good overall, but there's just a couple people that
like John and stuff
make it annoying.
The minds of the normal people into thinking that all competitive servers are bad. Like I remember going in there once with an alt. I ended up getting banned pretty quickly, but I asked like why people don't like competitive scene, and people said, well, because it's toxic. There were just all a bunch of raiders and stuff, and I said, okay, so you've experienced this before, and all of them were just like, no, but like all my friends have been in toxic servers and they've never liked it, kind of thing. But like if everybody's quote friends were a part of a toxic server, but nobody's actually been in a toxic server, and it's just people kind of scaring people off for no reason, then there's not really a valid reason for somebody to actually dislike the competitive scene without having a negative experience in the competitive scene themselves. They're just so gullible by the mods into thinking that whatever the mods think is bad is actually bad, and that's really poor.
Despite these problems, Survivio was fun.
Yeah, no, like I disagree on that. Like the competitive scene deserves its reputation for being toxic. Like SWL was decent, but even that was really toxic. Like I'm just being honest here. Nothing against anyone. I'm just being honest. I've personally been in a lot of competitive servers, and there's just always so many issues with raiding and just random little kids being toxic. My server got raided. Every Surviv competitive server I've been in has just been toxic, and it's been involved with the same issues. And like, yeah, people saying the N-word, they're just toxic and immature. It's just how it is. Like, it sucks, but it's just how it is, and it is toxic. Like, don't try to say it's not. I'm sorry.
For me,
it's just
I
the truth.
Had a really good time with it. Most of the issues weren't even entirely noticeable for me until I became more known in the pro community.
Yeah, I would disagree. There were issues with Surviv from the start, and it was always annoying to me. I enjoyed it, but yeah.
They are going to be taking a break from the development of Survivio, and that they would be giving Congregate the responsibilities. Of course, no one really knew what this meant, and no one really knew what it would look like. In fact, most of the people were excited because they didn't feel like just...
I was not excited for Kong, and I don't think many of
I would hesitate to say that people were excited. I think they were optimistic that things would get better. I know a lot of people were upset with the rate, including me, were upset with the rate of development for Surviv, and we felt like Nick and Justin...
All right, let me just give my point on this. Like, the rate of development on Surviv has improved. Let me just pull up the changelog quick. Like here, like let's go back a ways, back to 2019. Like ever since, let's see, what am I looking for? Ever since the club was added and like the Groza, that big update, there just hasn't been much added to the game. Like there was the Scout Elite update, which was decent at best, but just overall, there's hardly anything added since then. Like, the normal game is practically the same as it was, like, 15 months ago. And there's been a few good events, true, but not many. Like, the game hasn't changed at all in forever. Like, the Survivor Pass thing is cool, but, like, it doesn't change the fact that the actual game is boring. Like, it's not even a fault of the game. It's just when nothing changes, it gets boring over time, and that's just what happens with the game. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't play it because I don't hardly upload because there's no good updates. The game has been the same for 15 months, and it's just the same thing. Plus, the issues, which have gotten better with the Season 4 update, but the issues with the terrible UI, the graphics, and whatever, and how the home screen was set up, and just that, as well as not having normal squads, which again is better now, and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just there hasn't been anything that changed, and like it's just been the same game for so long, it just gets boring. Like, yeah. Like, wow, Spud Gun. That was a good update, but it was just a mode that lasted for. That was a good mode. There's been like 3 good game modes and a couple decent things, but other than that, the game has just been boring for the last 15 months. And that includes time when it was Justin and Nick running it. Like, this isn't Kong. I mean, obviously it's partly Kong, but it's also partly on Justin and Nick. The game hasn't been good for getting close to 2 years now. Like, it's just how it is. Yeah.
Fast enough, and we're kind of taking it as like a part-time job when they were making the money of a full-time job. But I would be hesitant to say that people were excited that it was being handed over.
Game. And let me tell you, we were about to experience the near death of Survive.io.
It's still dying.
I don't think I need to go deep into detail about why Congregate affected the game so much. In fact, some of it wasn't even Congregate's fault. There
Yeah.
were many useless things such as
If the
flasks,
game's just been
growlers, and
boring.
boring modes were being added. This was not the main cause of the
Yeah,
death.
exactly. Like, what's the point of flasks? There's nothing. There's just so many. The new modes they've had have had so many like tiny items or just small consumables that don't affect the game in any way. Like the Star Wars mode was good. I like that. But other than that, there's just so many of these modes are just different graphics with a couple boring consumables and nothing else. It's just the same old game with a slightly different look. It's not fun to play, and I don't even upload on most of those.
Survivio.
Or I didn't.
And this is when the hacker epidemic comes into play. Ice Hacks, a company with the main goal of destroying Survivio.
It wasn't the main goal wasn't to kill Surviv. The main goal was to make cheats. After that, they realized that
Yeah, that's
by
true.
making cheats, they were able to benefit their own company that they were starting. So I think it's disingenuous to say that their
Yeah, that's
main
true.
goal was to destroy SW or destroy Surviv.
So that their new game Victor.io could do well. Became such a large problem in early
Wow.
2020. Now, obviously, Congregate at one point
Victor.io
was taken
didn't
effective
do well
permanently
from what
by
I've seen
hackers.
as well. Like, it's
For
just
the
not
first
good.
time in months, an anti-cheat was finally released.
I mean, I haven't played
Many
it, but I've
players were
watched
excited,
it, and it's
and
just
the
not
game felt
good.
fun again. Well, that only lasted a few hours. After Ice Hacks was released again, it felt like Congregate had completely given up. Hackers remained, and while the game caused many problems for people trying to play the game, the lack of progression also urged players to.
I'm gonna be honest with how the hacker situation was just never that bad to me. Like, yeah, there's some, but you can still get wins and stuff. Like, there aren't that many to the point where you can't. It's unplayable. Like, they're annoying, but at the same time, I'm fine with it. How it is. Like, not saying I'm fine with there being hackers, but the game is. It's still playable with how the hacker situation is, in my opinion. But that is true. It did definitely contribute to the game's downhill slide, but it's not one of the main issues to me.
Quit. The game was just so plain, and nothing new was being added.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said earlier. That he's
I don't think the
100%
plainness is that big of an issue. I mean, we dealt with the main modes of Surviv the majority of the time that Nick and Justin were here, bar a few times when they
Well, yeah, they were the main modes, but they updated the main modes. When they added desert and stuff back, they updated it. They like maybe the updates weren't often, but a big update to the main mode every 1, 2, 3 months was hype and it was huge and it changed the game for a while and it was good. The main mode hasn't changed for what, 15 months, maybe except for maybe a couple of minor changes, I can't remember, but the game's just boring now. Like the main modes are so dull. It's crazy. Like, yeah.
there was a normal like a LTM But I'd say like 80% of the time was just normal Surviv, and I don't think that was a problem. I think the problem became when there was hackers and when there was major cheating and when it was no longer fun to play it in a competitive space because all these people had an unfair advantage just by cheating, kind of thing.
Is 2020
So the thing is, I feel like competitive isn't the downfall of competitive isn't the downfall of Surviv. Like partially yes, but the Surviv doesn't need competitive to do well as a game. Like it's not that I it's nothing against competitive. It's just the game isn't competitive. It's for fun and like yeah, there's a reason I haven't done competitive that much, and that's just because it isn't needed for to have fun in the game or to play it. Like yeah, I don't know
many
what.
of us have been playing the game for quite a while
Yeah.
now.
I don't think that's valid. I think when you own a game, the responsibility of everything surrounding the game is your problem. But hackers, that's something that you should be responsible for fixing. Community, that's your job to uphold the community. If that's placing better people in moderator positions and placing good people in the community management position, that's your responsibility.
Yes, please get rid of John and get a better mod team, better leadership for the server. Like honestly,
Social media
please.
marketing, that's your responsibility. The developing of the game is your responsibility.
But with hackers, I don't know if it's possible to fix the situation. Like maybe I don't know much about this situation, but I just don't know if it's possible with how it is. I mean, again, I don't know. I wouldn't know in this situation, but that's just how I feel.
Lag is your responsibility. I don't think saying that everything's Congress' fault. That's everything.
Yeah, it's definitely not true that everything's Congregate's fault. It's just that overall, the direction of the game has been bad ever since the club update. Like, just it's all just based on game modes and microtransactions, the whole seasons thing. Like, those are cool, but that's not what the main focus of the game should be. It should be on gameplay. Like, I don't know.
Roots down to Congregate's fault. It's not fair to blame it on anybody else besides Congregate. It's their responsibility to get the game. If they need to sue Ice Hacks, sue Ice Hacks. It's whatever you gotta do to make your game successful. That's how business works.
I just don't know if I mean, yeah, I guess suing them might work, but like, I just don't think will ever care that much, and that's just how it is. I don't think Nick and Justin would have ever cared that much. I mean, I might be wrong, but yeah. I mean, yeah, that would work maybe, but it's just legal stuff is just complicated. Like, yeah.
Either you're the top and you're striving or you're not.
So the game was bound to die anyway. For the past month now, I have mentioned that I quit Survivio.
Yes. Can this message be for me as well? Don't tell me to play the game or play Mope or anything. I'll play what I play when I want to. Like, I know y'all want me to upload, and that's why I still upload, but at the same time, telling me to upload when I'm making a community post as a joke isn't gonna help. Like, I'm just doing this because I enjoy it now, because I get a bit of money on it. But yeah,
Although that's not the
that's
video
definitely
you guys
annoying.
want to hear, I hope you now understand why I did it. It's just not something that I have fun with anymore. Either way, I want to give a big...
I 100% agree with Joweek on this. The game just isn't fun. My community is the only reason I still play and upload on the game at all. Like, because my community I really enjoy, and people still want me to upload, so I'll upload occasionally. I don't think I'll ever fully quit YouTube. Like, I'll just upload whenever I feel like it. If that's every day, if that's every week, month, even if I go years between uploads and you all leave, I'll still just upload when I feel like it. Like, yeah.
Thanks to Strawberry Donut for helping me with the script, and also to my
Strawberry
donators for...
Yeah, screw having a script. I'll just say whatever random stuff I want. It's not gonna make sense. Also, Strawberry Donut is stinky. That kid's. Yeah.
Strawberry
I'll pin your comment, Strawberry Donut, if it's good.
messed up a lot of the facts. So don't ask Strawberry to help with your videos.
throwing money at me.
All right.
Okay.
So with that, that's going to be the end of this video. I told you that this is going to
And I guess that's going to be the end of my video, too. And again, that's just the whole thing about Surviv is just with what they've done with the game in the last 15 months, it's just dull. Like, there isn't much new. Like, there aren't customs. There isn't anything new. There's no community events. There's nothing. It's just dull. It's the same game modes over and over. It's just dull. There's nothing new. And that's what I think is the downfall of the game. Hackers and the toxicity and whatever kind of contributes, but it's just the game's dull and they're not changing it at all. Like, that's my opinion. Like, there needs to be changes to the gameplay, not the cosmetics, which get boring after 3 seconds to me. I mean, I'm sure not everyone's like me, but yeah. Given my entire friend group was quit, I'd con- I just I think a lot of people are like me. So yeah. Alright, well, anyways, thanks for watching this disaster of a lazy video. I don't know why I made this just other than money, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Omega is a simp and dope you out.